Well, this is my second tutorial. I didn't actually expect to do another video so soon, but I actually had no internet this morning, so I decided why not. I had a really good idea based on my region IDs, based on the previous tutorial. As you can see, there's quite a few little spots here. Each of them is marked by the lava, the lighter lava and the darker lava, on different terrain tags. Now, as you could probably guess, looking at this, it's a damage floor tutorial based on region ID. But it's actually more than that. It starts with that and it's going to lead into something far more spectacular that I think. So we'll start with the damage floors. Makes things quite simple. If you're wondering what this little event here is, it's just a healing event so that you don't die, because you can die from walking on damaged tiles with this event. First of all, you're going to want to go and make a common event, call it damaged terrain. It looks long and complicated, but it's really not as bad as you might think. First of all, you'll make your region ID. In this case, for fire damage, just basic, I did region ID 11. Now next, you'll make 4 common events, one for each direction being pushed. Basically what this does is it says that as long as you're walking on this terrain, you take damage, but you don't take any if you're just standing still. Now what I've done is have it whenever you walk, you play a small sound effect and get a slight screen tint. Now I put the wait 5 frames here. The reason for that is if you don't, as long as you're holding down that button, it's going to constantly trigger the event. And that's going to cause, well, quite a bit of lag. This makes it so that it waits about the time it takes you to take another step. Now, as you can see, I have fire resist levels here. Don't worry about those yet. We'll go into those a little bit later. Basically, what happens when you step on the terrain is you change the HP of the entire party with this one. This is just basic fire for now. You can do different effects on different terrains. We'll start down here on the basic one, which doesn't include the fire resist level. You change entire party HP by 10. Okay, no big deal, really simple, right? Ignore this control variable for now, we'll come back to that. Now you go all the way down here to the bottom, and what this does is it's based on ID tag 12, the darker lava. I just set that up to do more damage. As you can see, it actually does 20 damage for every step you take. Simple enough, right? Now with the damage train, you can do anything you can really think of. If you wanted to do ice, and while you step on it, not only does it do damage, but it slows you down, maybe even has a chance to freeze you. Poison terrain can have a chance to poison your party. There's really anything you can think of. So that's pretty much it for the damage terrain. Nice and simple. But that actually leads into my next set, which is skill levels. This is a common event that basically allows you to do just about anything and get better at it every time you do it. I'll expand upon this more in later tutorials, but right now we're going to base it off of the damage terrain, in this case fire. As you can tell, fire resist level. Now basically what you do here is you want a conditional branch. I set the max level as 10 for fire resistance. If you're not level 10, then it constantly checks the fire resist experience. Once that hits, in this case 1000, it'll increase the level by 1. And that plays back into the damage terrain here. As you can see, the levels, every time your level is up, the damage you deal is less and less. Jumping back over here, now I said it that you just need 1000 experience to level up. You can actually have it increase if you want to put in the conditional branch for every level. So for example, here we have the conditional branch if the level is 10, and now let's say if we want to put a conditional branch that the level is variable fire resist level equals to 2. Now if you want it equal to 2, you could take this entire thing here, copy it, place it in here, and then change the requirement for it to be, oh, I don't know, 4000. How this is set up basically is if you're level 2, it requires you 4000 experience to increase your level. If you're not level 2, well, it only requires you 1000, which means level 0 to get to level 1, level 1D to level 2 both only require 1,000. You can obviously adjust this as you go. You can do one for every level you have and increase experience exponentially or by a random amount if you wanted. It can require 1,000 on first level and 3,604 for level 2. Completely up to you. Now what happens, I did here, is when you finally reach that experience points required, or in this case the variable, you get a small animation. On this I did the power up animation, and it displays fire resistance level /V8. What that does is it actually calls variable 8, which is the fire resist level, after it increases, and tells you that that's what your level is. Neat little trick there. And another thing I've said in here is an ability to check your levels and your experience at any given time with a button press. I set this to Z, which is actually D on the American keyboard. Now what I've done here is with fire resist, it doesn't really matter because it's an out of battle skill, so everybody will be the same. But I set it up to show you that you can do which character you choose. You just put /N 1, 2, 3, however many characters you have. This way it'll call their names. You don't have to type in their names every time. Then when you choose, it asks you which skill. In this case, I only have fire resistance or nothing because I haven't created other skills yet. This will be expanded upon later. Now when you choose fire resist, it checks your level, and if your level is 10, then it just says fire resist level VA8, shows you level 10. If it's not, it shows you the level and how much experience out of 1,000 you need. This is based on the fact that I only had 1,000 required for each level. You can obviously have increase just like up top. When you increase level and how much experience, you can do the same thing down here, expand upon your conditional branches, and do /4000 /9204, whatever you have set up there. Very simple. And obviously this is just a repeat for each character. Individually, when you do skills later on, this can expand upon. It can be different for each person, but we'll go into that in later tutorials. Now, if you noticed here, when you deal damage, I have the experience increased by a random number between 0 and 4. You may not choose to have it that much. You may choose to set it just a set experience increase. I like the randomness a little bit, and I like the fact that you can step on the fire and not learn anything from it, except for the fire is hot. Now, if you go all the way down here, that's a lot of events and conditional branches, I know, but a lot of it's just duplication. And you look at the fact that this is the higher damage dealing area. I also increased the minimum and maximum experience by 1. So you take more damage, but you're guaranteed to get experience, and you have a better chance of getting more experience. Just something I thought was a neat little trick. And then, of course, eventually, once you get to level 10, you don't take any more damage from the fire. The animations will still play, you'll walk across it, but your players will no longer take any more damage. Now, as you can imagine, the skill levels on this can expand into anything. I'll eventually be working on ways to increase your skill level with swords so that your damage goes up while wielding a sword, certain magic types, even playing in elemental resistance into actual damage from spells in combat. This really, while it looks expansive, is fairly simple. It's just a matter of putting everything in and covering every real condition. Speaking of which, there's one condition I haven't really been able to cover, and I can't really think of a way around it. It's if you take your character and just walk simply into a wall, well, since you're holding down the button, you're not moving, but you're constantly triggering the common event, which is going to deal damage to your character and allow them to constantly increase their experience. Not really too big of a deal, slight aesthetic problem. The main problem I see here is if you use random battles, the player can use this to avoid battles while increasing their experience on taking fire damage. But at the same time, they're still taking fire damage. So I guess it's not really that big of a deal, and I can't imagine too many players are going to just constantly walk into walls. And if they want to, well, I suppose that's on them. So one thing I want to do here is actually show you some gameplay, see how this works, just so you can kind of see it. Don't expect too much graphically appealing. I'm just using the RTP on all of this. So hopefully the music isn't too loud. It is coming straight out of my speakers, and hopefully you can still hear me over it. Now, as you can see, I've got a couple of just generated sprites here. This is the screen to show you the experience. Show fire resistance, as you can see, level 0, no experience yet, I haven't walked or anything. Now you can of course adjust this as much as you want. You can make your characters catch on fire every time they take a step, however much you want. I went with something simple since it's just a tutorial. Let me go ahead and heal. And then as you can see here, calling this back up, fire resistance, it's now 53 out of 1,000. I also actually want to show you the display here for how the variable looks once increasing, so bear with me while I increase this variable quickly. Need to get it up so that it'll be right near 1,000, and you can actually see the effect when it increases, so you know how it works. Okay, step on fire here. There you go, it's increased. Now if you bring up the screen again, shows here fire resistance. It's now level 1, got 8, and the experience resets. So that's pretty much it. I hope you did enjoy this tutorial and you learned quite a bit. I expect that I'll be posting these about once a week from now on. I'll show you the tutorial how it works, and I'll finish off showing you how it works in game. Thank you so much.